Welcome back to Washington Watch. I'm Tony Perkins, your host. The website, tonyperkins.com. Joining me in studio as we continue the discussion about one of President Joe Biden's executive orders imposing transgenderism on our nation's military. Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin, former member of the United States Army, 36 and a half years, was a founding member of the Delta Force and also oversaw all their special forces there in the United States Army. General, Joe Biden in signing this executive order, and this is something we know a little bit about because we were very much involved with the executive order from Donald Trump. His executive order was actually based upon an actual review that was conducted by the Department of Defense that supported the decision to halt the 11th hour decision by Obama, or actions by Obama, releasing this transgenderism in our nation's military. Joe Biden stepped over that actual review of the Department of Defense and made reference to a 2016 study by the RAND Corporation, which was speculative in nature, but obviously coming from a very positive standpoint in terms of the LGBTQ agenda.
Yeah. In July of 2017 is when President Trump announced that he was going to put this ban on transgenders serving in the military. That is, anyone coming into the military after he made the announcement. But it was not until March of 18 when they finally issued the implementing instructions for this, and that's because of this study that you just talked about, which made very clear that the military and the leadership believed that it was not in the best interest of the military to do this. And, you know, Tony, you and I have talked about this before, but the military only has one mission, and that's to fight and win wars. And when you make a decision regarding policy or equipment or anything else about our military, you need to make that decision with readiness in mind. How does that enhance our ability to win the nation's wars? This is not about social experiments, although that's exactly what we've seen in the Obama administration as well as now the Biden administration.
The DOD report that was conducted reported this, quote, the medical costs for service members with gender dysphoria have increased, and that was the ones that were already in there that were grandfathered in, had increased nearly 3 times or 300% compared to service members without gender dysphoria. They also are 8 times more likely to attempt suicide. Mm-hmm. Now, think about that for a moment. And we just had Congressman Warren Davidson made reference to this, where we already have an epidemic of suicide among members of the military. They're 8 times more likely to attempt suicide, 9 times more likely to have mental health encounters. That's the reality. That's based upon the evidence. Joe Biden makes his decision based upon eliminating discrimination. The military discriminates against a whole host of people who want to come into the military.
Well, that's exactly right. And, you know, for as long as we've had a military, there are certain people that just could not meet the standards. They couldn't meet the qualifications. And I think what's so contradictory about this is both the Secretary of Defense and the President said, well, if you can meet the qualifications. Well, wait a minute, you just changed the qualifications. That's a foolish statement, because what you're saying is, well, if you can't meet those qualifications, I'll change it so you can meet it.
Then
that's exactly what we have going now. I'll just say this, Tony, and a lot of people may even laugh at me about this, but you know, the military does not do elective cosmetic surgery for military dependents, like wives that are responsible, you know, for since 2011 have really raised the families in our military. So if you want to throw somebody a little bonus or something, how about taking care of the family members that would like to have elective surgery of that type? And instead, we're taking money and giving it to people that come into the Army not being able to meet the standards that were established a long time ago. This is not right.
Bottom line, how does this impact our national security?
That's right. and it does not enhance our national security at all. And in my view, it degrades our national security because I think it has a bad effect on the morale and the cohesion of any military unit. And I know a lot of people will argue against that, but that's my experience.
This is this is whittling away at the esprit de corps.
Mm-hmm.
It is a whittling away of the effectiveness of our nation's military. And I often hear this, well, our military didn't implode. Well, this isn't going to happen overnight, but this is a slow, steady march to where I'll have to point to history where the Roman Empire, it was a slow, steady march to a internal weakness that left them vulnerable.
That's right. Just keep in mind, one mission, win the nation's wars. If it doesn't enhance that, you don't do it.
Yeah, Donald Trump understood that.
He did.
And I tell you, he had more courage, and that's why the left hates him.
I know.
He had the courage to do what was right. Wasn't perfect, but he had courage. Most politicians don't have that courage.
Right.
General Boykin, thanks so much for
Thank you,
joining us, and thank you for your service to our nation.